Chase Thomas podcast. My nephew needs me to record. See, I already hate it. I hate it.
All right, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Chase Thomas podcast from still the aforementioned Chase Thomas, coming to you live from Knoxville, Tennessee, Everything School HQ. Joining me, packed house, first 4-person pod in a long time. Rocky Top insider Ryan Schumpert is here, fighting through it. Built different, Ryan Schumpert. How are you feeling, sir?
Yeah, not feeling great, so I'll just kind of leave it at that. Ready to roll. But big podcast, couldn't miss it.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to talk Field of 68's top 25 rankings 2 days removed from Georgia Week. So I'm excited to really dive into that one here on this very edition. We've also got Ethan Stone over Saturday Down South here on a Monday, cut fresh off. Let me check my notes here. Another bad Sunday of Chicago Bears football, which by my count is like 5 years in a row. It seems like Ryan Poles still doesn't have a Pro Bowler that he's drafted to this point. I was listening to a pod today talk about it, and just the run that they're on. I'm sorry, Ethan. It just is what it is.
We're what, rebuilding year number 4, I believe, at this point, and it's like a 10-year process, I think, in Brian Poles' mind. But he's going to be gone by the end of the year, so it's not going to get there.
Well,
if it keeps going the way this is shaping up to be, I don't think he's going to have the job very long.
I, for one, am shocked that Kevin Warren hasn't righted the ship there. Caleb Jarreau of the Daily Times is also here, rocking a Saints polo, which is also pretty bold after that 0-2 start.
We got 3 teams in here rebuilding and 1 team that can't find the end zone. So
I'm sorry, a W is a W. Like
we got a great
Sunday Night Football was
NFL
all Falcons. James Pierce Jr., Jalen Walker, Leonard Floyd. There's just so Orokoro. Like, there's just so many guys. I've lost count of how many elite pass rushers we have right now.
Football game I've watched in a while.
It's great. Billy Bowman Jr., ball hawk in the slot, Xavier Watts, Jesse Bates. There's so many dudes.
No
unbelievable
touchdowns.
Stuff. Bijan can't be stopped. Falcons.
Touchdowns.
I'm sorry. We have a new Parker Romo. Youngway Koo, the year is over. Thanks for the memories.
Yeah, your kicker didn't even know the other guy on the post-game little show they did.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just like most people didn't know him either.
Well, I'm not taking this from a Saints fan right now.
I'm birds over there.
I'm not doing this.
Saints might get wins this year, and it's 2 wins over the Falcons.
Starting hostile. I love this.
This is good, Caleb. Maybe we did need
fire back.
We did need Caleb on here because I don't have the energy to bully Chase to my full ability tonight. So we had to
take the baton.
Go to bullshit. So Caleb, come on in.
But this is the whole
coming
thing.
in like Big Mo out here, getting the music and the lights going. I'm loose.
Well, I tell people, I'm like, Caleb is like, the first thing I noticed about Caleb, like Ryan, like eased into it. Like he waited a couple of years to become like, we know each other pretty well. Caleb's like guns blazing just immediately. When I'm like, oh, all right. Like Caleb's just going to go at me immediately. Like I didn't really know Caleb on the show. And he was just like, no. I was like, that's what I tell people when they ask about Caleb. I'm like, that's my first impression. I was like, I mean, he goes for it, man. He does not hold back.
I think Caleb asked for advice going on the radio show. I guess might have been what was first for the podcast to me and Sylvia, and we were just like, yeah, just bully him, kind of joking. And Caleb said, say less.
Yeah, it was just bad advice, and now there's
you got to respond to the hot takes with the hot takes, man. Chase is
they're not even that hot. Like my takes,
they're pretty hot.
Some of them are like 110 mile an hour fastballs getting thrown at you on
one day I'm not gonna have the heater. One day I'm not gonna have it. So as long as I can throw like Ben
might want to
Joyce,
mix in some more change-ups.
Chase says his takes aren't that hot, and then he will die in battle for Boo Carter at the same time.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I would.
Jake Merklinger is definitely more the way to go.
Jake Berklinger, QB1, following Thomas Castellanos at Florida State next year. Gus Bus, Jake Merklinger.
Nice little 2-seamer on the hands there.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
I was thinking more group of 5, but
he could be like a Wake Forest type guy, I think.
Yeah, basically group of 5.
Yeah, Boston College. Thomas Castellanos,
not a good fit.
Boston College.
That's a good one.
Dylan Lonergan, Brookwood alum. He's throwing the pigskin around. Boston College is good at quarterback for the next couple of years.
What if he goes home to like Kennesaw State?
It's not really home. He's from Savannah.
What if he goes home to
like Florida State's
Savannah
actually close
College
to
of Art and Design?
Scad.
I'm not doing this. I'm
Jake
not.
Merklinger.
You can found the football program there.
Yeah, y'all won't do this. Like, I'm gonna be the opposite of Tennessee fans who've been hate watching Nico Iamaleava all year. I'm gonna be the Tennessee fan who just sets aside time to watch wherever Jake Merklinger's QB1 next year outside of Tennessee games. Where I'm like, gotta check in on Merk. How's everything going?
Yeah,
Merk watch. Yeah,
Is the Merkman. He is
I
the
won't-
leader of the Merkmen.
I won't give up. Well, fellas, there was a big game over the weekend, and Tennessee comes up just short in Neyland, 44-41. Now that we've had about 48 hours to think about it, what is your biggest takeaway you're still thinking about from Tennessee, Georgia, Ryan Schumpert?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, you can go in a number of directions. I think my biggest takeaway from the game itself is just how much better the offense is than I ever expected it could be this year. And just how good it played in the game when you're talking about a pure takeaway. But just after, a game like that, such a missed opportunity, I think you leave thinking about the areas where Tennessee lost that game or could have won that game. And, I think the two things that stand out are two pre-snap penalties. One right after Josh Joseph's strip sack that I think in part led Heupel to go so conservative just to make sure they could get a field goal, which I did get on first and second down a little bit. Third down, I really hated that play call. I thought they should have thrown the ball. And then obviously the Sham Umarov, false start, which looked like the Sam Pendleton thing. It's bad timing. False starts happen. Sham Umarov, dude, you're not even blocking on the play. You're just you literally the one thing you can not do is commit a pre-snap penalty. Doesn't mean Tennessee couldn't have made the field goal, but it just led to that sequence being so wonky. And I don't know, you just look at the field goal itself, that 5 yards didn't make the difference, but Max Gilbert 16-17 in his career and field goals under 40 yards. So it just kind of changes the sequence. So I would say that, and then I'll tell you, I'll save my other thing actually for the stat that stands out, which is not really a stat, but it is something you would look at if you're looking at like the game recap.
What about you, Ethan?
I'm like Ryan. There's a lot to take away from this. I mean, you can point to the corners. You can point to Tennessee being able to move the ball on Georgia's defense for the first time really ever of the Heupel era at the very least, and really in the past 8 years, I guess. You could point to Joey being just exceptionally better than I thought he was going to be. Not necessarily this season, but just against the Bulldogs, I thought he would regress a little bit. And if anything, he had his best game of the year, I'd say. Yeah, I mean, it was just, I wouldn't have seen it being a high scoring game. That's another thing as well. I think if you had told me that this was going to end with Tennessee scoring 41 points and they still lose, that's, kind of shocking. So I think Ryan made a lot of good points. I think there's a pretty decent amount to take away that we'll get into a little later.
Yeah, Caleb. I mean, I just think the offense, I just don't have any questions about it really anymore. I shouldn't say that. I do have one question, which is I still think the running game is sneaky, not great. And I think Tennessee kind of has a sneaky rushing attack problem. Like I think this is going to be the worst rushing attack in the Heupel era.
This is the same guy who was telling me in July that if we said anything detrimental about the run game, that we've never watched Tennessee football before.
Well, hold on. I didn't say that. They've averaged 5 yards per carry all. I'm just telling you, they didn't run the ball well on Saturday. Like they struggled.
Yeah, I wonder if the best run defense will play all year.
I think
ran the ball when it mattered on the last drive, got him in the field goal range.
They also couldn't run the ball in the most important
I also
moments.
think when you rewatch the tape, to Ryan's point, the strip sack from Joshua Josephs where you didn't get aggressive, I thought first and second down would have been the best for that. When you watch the play on third down, Deshaun has the seam, and then Sham just puts the worst effort on a block that I've seen that blows up that play. And you can see Heupel on the sideline too, like in the 11, the big zoom out drone view.
Yeah,
he's like he sees the play. And then his hands up when it gets blown up. Like, again, I think they should have been more aggressive there, but I also think that it was there for the taking. But no, I think, the offense played really well. I thought Joey looked really good in that environment. One of my biggest takeaways is Gunnar Stockton has the most ice in his veins of anybody I've ever seen for a first-year starter. That ball he dropped in on fourth down was insane. Like, and we were talking about it earlier, like, if he throws that ball 50 times, I'd say he completes it maybe 5. perfectly.
Also, does he
over
throw that
Tyrodden's
if
head.
that's Dramad?
I don't.
Well, I
With
think
the
you
way
kinda-
he threw that ball, I think you could have like Jalen Ramsey covering that.
Well,
and
it's
I
not
think
about
the way
that.
he
It's
threw
just
that
does
ball
he
is complete.
try? Like, does he target? Because part of it was
Well,
Ty
the whole
Redmond
game
on
plan
him.
was to go after Ty Redmond.
Yeah.
And there was no safety help for most of the game for Ty Redmond. So
Yeah.
I think, that game plan first play of the game, they went right at him for a big chunk play, like instantly got Gunnar Stockton settled into that game. So that's the defense, back end is, we already knew that with the injuries, it wasn't going to be good. That's one thing that come out. But I think I like the offense. Joey's on pace now to tie Peyton Manning's record if you really want it for single season passing touchdowns, if you really want to put unbeknownst expectations on him. But, I agree. I think Chris Brazzell coming out is good. We didn't see a lot of drops, if any, from the wide receivers, which I was really surprised with. Yeah, there's probably one or two, but definitely not what you had.
No, way better.
Weeks
way
one
better.
or two, which I was really surprised with, which I think just goes back to the point of, those guys needed practice time to get on the same page with Joey Aguilar. But yeah, I think offense is the big thing you have to take away from this one, and hope you get healthy and hope that you don't have any wide receivers get hurt, or you have some defensive linemen come back, and the cornerback spot's going to be an issue all year. I think the light at the end of the tunnel gets dimmer and dimmer with every day from that position group this year.
Well, part of it is like their own doing. Like, they make the cornerback situation a lot worse. Like, Ty Redmond playing 95 snaps is the defensive staff's fault. Like, they don't have to play him 95 snaps. They did not have to play him 95 snaps.
Who do you want them to play?
Huh?
Who do you want them to play?
Slide McMurray down and let Boo play more than 28 snaps at star. The way we're talking about Boo now, it's like Boo graded well last year at star. It was like he eventually took over that job.
If you watch the game, then it's not like I don't think. Sure, you could slide McMurray down to give Ty Redmond a break. I think Boo Carter snaps at star are justified. I think Jalen McMurray is the better star.
It does it, but like the
Boo
whole
Carter's
thing is
a really
like
good
you're
punt
that
returner.
bad right now with Ty, where he's just getting torched the entire game that you have to adjust. Like, you didn't
And
adjust.
truthfully, I don't think Jalen McMurray is much better at cornerback. Like,
He was.
from
I mean, you have a
corner
bigger sample from McMurray. McMurray was a good cornerback last year. Like, we have a full season of good McMurray cornerback play. Like, we don't know what Ty Redmond's only good team tape is really bad, and he's a true freshman. Like, I like Ty Redmond long term, but I think it was wrong to put him in that spot for 95 plays. I think that was just. I don't know. I think you put him in a terrible spot, and you have a healthy Boo Carter who you can give a bunch of snaps to at star and help and slide McMurray down to at least help Ty a little bit and limit those amount of snaps. Like, it will never make any sense to me, because like part of like the revisionist history with Boo is like, well, he's not lighting it up and everything else. And I mean, he had back-to-back tackles on one series in this game where he played pretty well, but it was just one of those where I'm like, we have seen good Boo Carter at star. Like, we've seen that happened last year. It's just, you got to let him settle in. Like, I'll listen to the argument that McMurray is a potentially better star than him, but you know what you still can do? Rotate him and McMurray, and also rotate McMurray and Redmond at the other corner slot. Like, I just don't think this is sustainable of just doing 95 snaps of Ty Redmond at a true freshman at one of these spots in the biggest game of the year for I don't know. I hated that, and they did not adjust because you have other options. It's not like you were just completely out of options at corner. You could have slid down and at least see what happens, see how it works differently.
I think a big part of the problem really is a good majority of that was man-to-man. I mean, they're putting true freshmen out there against Zachariah Branch and, Young and all these great Georgia wide receivers that Tennessee really hasn't faced at this level this season. And a decent amount of it was man-to-man. And every time it was man-to-man, Redmond he just didn't have a chance, right? They targeted him the first play. Like Caleb said, they wanted to target him the entire game. They did it on the fourth down. And, and it's tough, right? Because you're missing your two top corners. So that's always going to, like, you're putting a lot on Tim Banks to be like, look, you got to go game plan for this. And you got a game plan for a guy that, look, did considerably better than just about anybody expected to. I mean, I don't think we're giving, Caleb gave him some credit, but I don't even think we're giving Gunnar Stockton enough credit. He was fantastic in this game. And it's his first true road start. And we said it the entire week beforehand that it's probably going to razzle him a little bit. It didn't, not even a little bit. And, that first play, when Tennessee tries to pressure him, it just doesn't matter because Redmond's stuck on an island out there against Colby Young. And, he just made the play, gassed him for like 60 yards right out of the gate. And, I think that part of it, that how Banks in general just kind of attacked that game, just playing as if Jermon McCoy was out there. I don't know. It's hard to say from where I'm at to say, oh, do something different. But I don't know, throw in a little more complex, I don't know, some zone stuff. So get Redmond off
Their
an
safeties
island,
are too bad.
Yeah, I
that's
think
true. That's true. He's not working with the best Jimmys and Joes in the entire world right now.
You're stuck in a situation where, if you want to go the chase route, Boo Carter only had one tackle on a ball that was not run, and it was when he let Zachariah Branch convert the 4th and 3 by just not even challenging him off the line of scrimmage. And then if you want to go, I like Ethan's point of, I think you need to help Ty Redmond out. But then to Shumpert's point, who do you help him out with? Because a lot of your safeties, look fast against Syracuse, but as soon as they're playing Georgia, the speed difference is noticeable. So I think you're in a lose-lose situation to where, I guess, the option was roll the dice and hope you can get to the quarterback, which they did for a good amount of the game. But, when he did have time to sit in the pocket, Ty Redmond was gashed. But yeah, I agree. Tim Banks is always going to play man-to-man defense. And I think, we saw that earlier. I think 2022 is a good example of the secondary was always under fire because they were always under the microscope because they're always in man-to-man defense and getting gashed down the field. And I think you saw that again, where if you have Jermon McCoy and Ricky Gibson on the field, that's a lot different game, but you didn't have those guys on the field. And I think the solution ideally would be, sack the quarterback, but that didn't work out a lot. So I really don't know where you go. I'm not a big fan of the idea of Boo Carter at the star and rotating Jalen, just because I haven't liked what we've seen from Boo this year at the star position. People on the sideline who, photographers tell me that he's always seems unlocked on the sideline. Like he's not in huddles. They're having to call him over. Like you didn't see that last year. And you don't see that a lot from other guys either. So I don't like that either. It's really a lose-lose situation, but at the end of the day, what they didn't really work. It's tough, man. You scored 41 points on Georgia and lost. Like, that's a tough pill to swallow.
The Vols wanted to win that game in a very specific way. I guess I'll leave that short because other people want to talk, but they wanted to win that game in a very specific way. And it was score 40 points and win the way they did, because like Caleb said, there's not many options. I mean, Marshall and Austin P were dropping 7-8 dudes in coverage. I'm not sure Tennessee has the guys to be able to do that. I think Stockton would have probably been able to find some holes still. And you leave problems when you're giving Georgia's run game any positive effort they can get after kind of struggling at the start of the season. You don't want them to establish the run early either. So, it's just a tough situation. We've said it ad nauseum, but it's just impossible to go against this Georgia team with the guys that they have and expect them to keep them to say, 17, 20, 24 around that number.
I will say at the end of the day, I do agree with Chase though, that I would just play Jim McMurray some at corner. I don't know. To me, that's not playing him 90 snaps at corner and Boo 90 snaps at star, but 45 here, 45 there, and just splitting it a little more, even just 30. But I will say I'm not super deterred on Ty Redmond not being able to be decent by the end of the season either. I think he played a good receiving core. I think, look, he still wasn't great. You take out the first play and basically the last play of the game defensively, his numbers aren't that bad. But again, he got burned on the first play, and that last play was much more. He had good coverage. So you just tip your cap to Georgia. So I don't, I think you certainly Georgia did a good job targeting. I don't leave that game being like, Ty Redmond can't be good for this team. Certainly not long term, and I don't think that he can't, not be even solid for the team the rest of the season. I would just rather take a little bit of pressure off of him and not have him out there for every single snap. You also just hope your defense isn't on the field for 95 snaps a game either.
I would
not ideal.
94, 95 plays is crazy.
I would emphasize that as well from Ryan, though. I was not necessarily made to think that Redmond is going to be a complete disaster like a lot of people online seem to think. I mean, he's just in an impossible situation. I think he'll grow and he'll get better.
I think it says something that he's the guy they've gone to y'all's point. Like, they obviously trust him, and he's performed. He came into Syracuse on a whim, and he's performed well as a freshman that was ranked, I think, as a 3-star. So, I mean, obviously they see something. So I wouldn't, sell all of your Ty Redmond stock either.
No, it's just he's like, to be clear, it was just a age game 3 true freshman against Georgia. Like, it's just, my whole thing was like the spot. It was not him. Like, I don't blame Ty Redmond for the spot that he was in. You're in a tough spot, but it's also like one of those, man. Colton Hood was, I think, targeted 4 times, 1 catch for like 5 yards. Like, Colton Hood is locked down. Like, Colton Hood's been better than Ricky Gibson. And if you just had a healthy Jermod, how different does this game look if you have Colton Hood and Jermod McCoy playing 90 snaps at corner? Like, that would have just been it's a big what if for me because Colton Hood's been a great gym, and it's just I don't know. I don't know, but I will say I've never been more. This is going to be like a quick minute rant here. I have never been more happy to be wrong about something than the Tennessee wide receivers to this point. I will say for like we like to romanticize like 12 personnel. It's like we'll expand the tight ends and like Ethan Davis better receiving year and all that. And I'm like, you know what's fun? The tight ends not being a factor in Tennessee's passing game anymore. Like it is so much more fun. It was a delight. Chris Brazzell making the kind of catches he made on Saturday, and just like I've been completely wrong. Chris Brazzell deserves an apology from like every single Tennessee fan imaginable because Chris Brazzell, I mean, he's getting wide receiver 1 in 2026 draft buzz from Todd McShay right now. Like completely wrong about Chris Brazzell. And I am so happy to be wrong about him. He is a delight. That is fantastic. He is just an awesome story. We're all looking at Joey Aguilar. I'm like, Chris Brazzell being like a legitimate dude out of nowhere is a huge, huge part of this. But also Braylon Staley looks like the next, like you've just missed that. Like no offense to Squirrel, but it's just different. Like it's Braylon Staley is just a 10 times better player than Squirrel White, especially for this offense. And he's electric. You can use him in so many different ways. Like he's awesome. Like Braylon Staley, I'm going to love watching play football for Tennessee for the next 2 years at minimum. So I just think Brazzell and Staley, it is so much fun when this Tennessee offense has great wide receiver play downfield. Like it's just, I miss 22 so much. And this is not purely the same as 22, but I just, if these guys stay healthy, Mike Matthews included, this receiving core and Joey is going to be a lot of fun this year. Like every Saturday is going to be really fun through the air because they're good, man. Like when they're healthy, these three are really good. And there's a lot of chemistry there, and Chris Brazzell breakout, just a delight. Like I love having Chris Brazzell in my life now. Like Chris Brazzell is just fantastic. Put him on television every Saturday. It's great. It's great stuff. He's a great story. Like he's having a better start than Thornton. You could have never convinced me he was going to be better than Dante Thornton this year before the year. And he's so much better. So I'm close.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm in the same boat of like completely. I mean, Chase and I, we criticized the handling and receiver room all offseason. I will say I did not fantasize throwing the ball to the tight ends. I have long poo-pooed that as a thing they're not going to do. But yeah,
are you glad that that's not the offense? Like we have to do that, like to win games. Like if we had to utilize,
for sure.
It's well, just so much more fun.
When you're doing that, you're just playing to win games more low scoring and not turning the ball over and control the clock. But yeah, I mean, Brazzell's been unbelievable. I didn't see that coming. I think this is the time that I truly am all in on the whole second year in the Heupel system thing. I think like I've been like, like there's been some evidence to that. I'm sure it definitely helps, but I mean, he's just a dramatically different player. And it's also a great reminder of in two ways. One, how much better it is to underthrow the football than overthrow the football. Tennessee's last two quarterbacks were incapable of underthrowing the football, and Chris Brazzell specifically, I mean, that was the buzz on him, or like the scouting report on him when he got to Tennessee from Tulane, is that he was like really good at going up and high pointing the football and jump ball type situations. And Tennessee's quarterback last year didn't ever give him the opportunity to do that, and you see it twice in this game. And one, I mean, the first touchdown, I don't know how much you could tell in the broadcast, he absolutely burnt the corner. And a good throw in stride, it would have been a touchdown too. But to go up, make the play, maintain his balance, and still score, incredibly impressive. And then I mean, he looked like DeAndre Hopkins on much like DeAndre Hopkins against the Falcons. No pass.
We didn't have to do that. Like you can just say like DeAndre Hopkins, and everyone knows what we're talking about. We didn't have to actually personally identify what he did to me on a Sunday a couple of years ago, which was one of the most egregious offensive pass interference calls of all time.
One of Will Levis's, I think, 4 wins as an NFL starting quarterback.
Great stuff. Anyway, back to what you were saying about
NFL calls.
No, I mean it's just great. It's just a lot of fun.
Most people wouldn't have known what I was talking about, for what it's worth.
Do people not know that DeAndre Hopkins is the biggest offensive pass interference guy of all time? I think
most big time NFL fans are, but there's a lot of people that just love college football and follow the NFL pretty casually.
True.
I wouldn't have known. I could list off a couple pass interferences in playoff games though, with a guy named Drew Brees at quarterback. And Super Bowl worthy defenses. But no, to Shumpert's point, I mean, it's not rocket science when you look at a 6'5", 205-pound wide receiver and think, oh yeah, let me just high point the ball to him. Like it's like, Tennessee's discovered gold here. And it's like, I mean, if you'd just done this last year, I think it would have been, obviously I think Chris Brazzell's a lot better, but I think if to Schumpert's point, if the quarterback who played for Tennessee last year would have just done this, like, you would have been a lot better off. And I think it's good on Joey to realize, if you just throw it up, he's either going to draw pass interference, going to high point the ball and catch it, or more than likely it's going to be batted down unless something crazy happens to where, Brazzell falls. So yeah, I think it's a foolproof strategy, and having this in the playbook, like being able to throw the deep ball, opens up so many other things that we saw, especially even against Georgia, like the middle of the field. There's so much space for you to run crossing routes. We talked about not throwing to the tight ends. Miles Kitselman had a couple still over the middle of the field, that went for, first down. So you still open those things up when you have to worry about that deep ball. And I think this is the first year we've really seen Georgia's defense like have to go away from what they usually do and play that man-to-man defense and then just load the box. I still think they were effective against the run, but you had to see them adjust a little bit, which is something we haven't seen before. And that's a testament to having 6'5", 205-pound Chris Brazzell streaking down the sideline.
It was a delight. Ethan, how would you rate the Vols position units overall performance? Was there some units that stood out to you more than others? How would you go about it?
I just went ahead and ranked all of them, or graded all of them. So I'll run down real quick. I gave Joey an A. I don't really think you can give him anything else. I gave running backs a B-, receivers A+.
And got you a B-.
I thought they were fantastic. Tight ends, I gave a B because they did fine in the blocking game. They caught 18 receiving yards. They didn't do much, but they weren't detrimental either. I thought Kitselman was really, really good in blocking and run block specifically. So, I think that was worthy of a B. Offensive line, I did B+. Probably would have been higher except for the penalties. Defensive line was an A. I'm not really sure how you can ask them to do much more, especially when Georgia's kind of struggling on the offensive line. Linebacker, I gave a B. Cornerbacks was a D, and then special teams was a D.
Yeah. Special teams, Boo Carter didn't have one return, right? Like he never.
I don't think
he
so.
had a fair catch outside the fumble.
Oh, he muffed a punt.
That's enough.
He did
I'll
muff a
mute
punt.
you, Ryan Tepper. I don't care if you're sick. I will mute that part of the conversation here.
That's true.
Hey, good job by him to dive on the ball. I'll give him credit there.
Yeah,
I had forgotten about that. That about gave me a heart attack.
I was trying to think of something
called
earlier when I mentioned him giving up the fourth down too, and I could not think of what it was, but that is what it was.
Yeah, that ball was going to him, and I could tell he wasn't fair catching it, and he absolutely needed to fair catch it. And I was like, he's going to muff this, and boom.
He would have got his head taken off if he actually caught it clean.
He's trying to make a play. Boo Carter's a playmaker. And yeah, I do think I like the B-. I will say though, my theory is, and Caleb, I guess you playing football at the high school level, like, I mean, did you not?
I did not play football.
I thought you said you played some offensive line and then you moved over to baseball full time.
In fifth or fourth grade, I think.
Oh, that's more than enough.
No, the football coach was my driver's ed teacher, so he taught me the schemes while we drove around Oak Ridge Highway, if that counts.
I don't think so, but why did I say? I thought you told me this whole story about you playing football and then you flipped to baseball when you realized that you were good at baseball. Like baseball was your thing.
No, they did recruit me.
They baseball recruited you to play football.
And Ethan Stone knows this. We went to Carnes High School, no football history.
Yeah.
So any live body they wanted on the team. And every day I'd walk into the gym and our weightlifting, he's the AD now, but he was our weightlifting coach. And he was like, son, Todd Helton played baseball and football. You can too. And I'd be like, all right, coach. And then,
Todd Helton. Basically the same guy.
And Caleb gets an A+ for that impression. That was amazing.
And then I would leave school every day and walk my happy self to the baseball field. Did not play football. But then we got Deshaun, so I looked like an idiot. I should have got in on the ground floor of that.
Yeah.
I could have been like,
the thing that's so amazing about the thing that's so amazing about that is he's so. I mean, it was Devin Harper, it was Thomas Harper, it was Deshaun Bishop, and then just some live bodies that they found in gym. Like that was the team. That is exactly. And it was hand the ball off to Devin Harper. It was hand the ball off to maybe throw it to Thomas every once in a while on a crossing route, and then it was Deshaun Bishop the entire time. He got 60 carries.
Legitimately. It's like a
legitimately
fantasy
have two
draft where you
guys who are in
use
the
all
league.
of your money on your first three guys, your first three picks, and you're like, oh wait, I got to fill out the rest of the roster. You just like loaded up. You're like, uh-oh, we have some problems here.
We had a guy, two players who went to the league, and I don't even think they made the playoffs when they were there. If you ran too fast
Crazy.
in gym class, you were getting recruited to play wideout. So you had to pump the brakes.
I think Carnes went to the playoffs my senior year. No, I'm not even sure that's true. I think they went after I was off because I covered it for 5-star, and it was like, I mean, you would have thought they won the Super Bowl. Like they were 5-5, and then like it was
Over at the
insane.
Carnes Chronicle, buddy, we were covering it because that would have been my junior and senior year. Senior year was when we hosted Walker Valley. You were there with 5-star.
Yep, that was it. Yep.
And then they went to Ray County and lost. But yeah.
Yep.
Had two guys in the league. I don't know how many high schools can say that.
It's
Beavers. I don't know if y'all know about Parkview High School, but they put
In
out
Knoxville.
several.
How many high schools in Knoxville have two guys in the league?
Oh, it's a good question. I'm thinking.
Oak Ridge had one.
Yeah.
Has one. Have one.
I mean Alcoa, but if you count that,
No.
I don't. Yeah. Where did?
Mm-mm.
No, never mind. That's a lie. I was about to.
Yeah,
lie.
I think
Go
you're probably
Beavers.
right.
I
That's
think
probably
you
it.
might be
They're
right. I
strong.
think it's Carnes. Like that's crazy, but I think it's Carnes.
Yeah. Caleb, what grade would you give Heupel and his staff for this game?
Yeah, that was a tough one I was wrestling with because I think Heupel deserves a good grade. You know, I'd go B plus A range, but just with everything we've said on the defensive side of the ball, you know, I don't think you can grade the staff super highly. But once again, we've mentioned it's not like fully their fault. At the end of the day, it is. Like you didn't recruit more cornerbacks, or you had you've always had issues thinning in the secondary. But at the end of the day, you got gashed on defense. Again, your offense scored 41 points against the mighty Bulldogs from Georgia, and you lost the game. I think that's just kind of an indictment of it. And we've mentioned too, there were some things that could have been handled better, like Schumpert said off the top, the strip sack turning into 3 run plays that went nowhere. You know, the weird sequence before the end of game field goal. I think you iced your own kicker there probably twice. Like he was running out on the field and then had to go back to the sideline.
Schumpert will not allow me to.
See, I don't get the ice the kicker thing. Maybe
Well,
that's
That
just
is
me
what
not
happened.
having
Max
watched
had
the
to spend,
kicker.
like, Caleb just laid it out. That's the whole thing.
Every time
When was he going to kick? Would be my point.
every time they stopped the
Yeah.
game, he went out on the field and then it still ended up kicking. You had 3 timeouts.
Yes.
Yeah, you had 3 timeouts and it's 3rd down. So like again, is that an excuse for missing the kick? Probably not. If he made the kick, we wouldn't be talking about it.
But I mean, it was like
But he
15
didn't.
minutes in the back and
And
forth.
I think
And
the
like,
big thing
that
to me was
seems-
he would
but-
put
Is
the
that not a
helmet
Max
on,
Gilbert
walk
problem?
out to the huddle, and then be on the field. So I just
They
it was a
clearly
weird
they
sequence.
clearly were never going to kick it before maybe one play before they did with the false start. Why would like
they should have done it. They should have kicked
why would
before
that
the
why
false
is that
start.
Heupel's fault? They should
7 seconds, because it's like, even if there's 1 second remaining, whatever, because you'd centered the ball perfectly anyway. Like, you were in a good spot. It was under 40 yards. Like, you should have just kicked it. And it's like, okay, they have 2
that's
seconds to
fine.
return it. Like, whatever, that's fine. Like, let Puglisi throw it 40
Okay.
yards and see what happens. But like, he should have just kicked it to begin with. Like, because I was like standing up, like, just kick the ball. What are we doing? Why are we overthinking? Why are you trying to?
My
Yeah.
biggest gripe is not even that. Truthfully, I was going to go into the fact: what if somebody fumbles the ball? Sam Pendleton's snaps were inconsistent the entire game, start to finish. What if he sends the snap 20 yards backwards? Now you're throwing a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things that went into it besides just the mental game. It just was, it made me uncomfortable. I didn't think it just felt like they were teetering. Like they didn't know if they wanted to keep going, keep centering the ball, try to push forward. Like just figure out what you're doing and do
Yeah.
it.
It felt like
to
they were
me that-
panicking down the stretch there. It felt like they.
that's just you're acting like this was like a 7-play sequence.
No, I'm saying they
No, no, no,
panicked.
I
You
don't-
don't argue. They should.
I don't think panic is the right
play
word.
earlier.
I just think they should.
Well, Chase said on, and he might back. I won't even say that. I won't say what Chase said on Saturday. But
I just think that
he
what
can say
did you
that if he wants. If he's
what were you trying to accomplish with the last play? Heupel was still non-committal about it. Like just
Yeah, that
whatever
part's
you were
fine
gonna
to me.
do it.
That
Because
That's
part
my
is
whole thing. There's no
fine.
logic in then kicking it anyway after the 5-yard penalty. Like, then try to get
Yes.
the yards back. You have 7 seconds to try. Like, don't
if
just do it because you're like, I'm worried about another false
if
start.
you weren't scared of the snap flying over Joey's
Yes.
head or a fumbled handoff the play before, why were you all of a sudden worried about it after the false start? Again, why are you false
Right.
starting? Like, but you know, it just some of those things keep it from being. Obviously, you lost the game too, so I don't think you can give anybody an A for a loss. But I think like overall, you can't have too many gripes because really, you chalk this up. I mean, I don't think Tennessee got outcoached. I don't think Georgia got outcoached. I think Gunnar Stockton threw a great ball at the end of the game. I think you missed a field goal. Tennessee should have won the game with that field goal. I think you went into your offensive possession and stalled out. Like that's how the game flowed. So I don't think this one came down to coaching, like you can say some previous ones had probably. But I think somewhere in the middle, like B-ish. I think it was a good performance. I think we're to the point where this is what you expect from Tennessee's coaching staff to be competitive in these games. And I think you got that.
Can I throw out, because I know it's easy to say hindsight is 2020 here, but I think I even said in the chat, like I would have gone for 2. I mean, I would have gone 4 down territory in overtime. Like the defense was completely gassed. You given up over 500 yards at that point. Like, did any of y'all actually believe Tennessee was getting a stop?
I didn't think Tennessee would get a stop, but I don't think you can just give Georgia the win.
It's I mean, they stopped Georgia inside the 10-yard lines twice already in the game and made them.
Austin Peay stopped Georgia on the goal line.
I just didn't have a good feeling. I don't know if y'all felt that though. Did y'all feel like Tennessee was going to get a stop there?
No, when Max Gilbert missed a kick, I felt like the game was over. So
there was no the reset did not happen.
That's why I was like, I would treat it as 4 down territory.
Sure. Well, I guess that would be my thing.
But then you can see the game.
If they had like 4th and 3,
maybe, but not if you treat it like 4. Like, can you? That offense was cooking. If you go into it like we're passing and we're going for a touchdown, and we know we've got
on first down.
No, I'm saying multiple
Mike Matthews dropped the ball.
I know, but I'm saying I'm passing 4 down territory. If you go into it, you call plays differently. If you're going into it like we have 4 plays to get a couple first downs, and then
I don't look at the sequence of play calls that they had and think that because it was 4 down, if they were treating it as 4 down territory, it would have changed things a whole lot. But I don't know what the hell happened on the third down play. I mean, that was just obviously blown out from the start.
I think another angle
should not have gone forward.
I think another angle to look at it from is, I mean, you don't really want to give Max Gilbert credit for it, but he went out and made the kick. But beforehand, I would have paid you about $40 and said that he's going to miss that kick, right? He just missed that huge one. Yeah, the one in overtime. That was.
I knew he was nailing that one because I'm convinced. I'm a huge Mad Max guy. Max from Memphis. I'm a Mad Max from Memphis head, and this man, I will go to bat.
No wonder you're trying to blame Heupel for him missing the game.
100%. I'm not putting that on Max in regulation. I'm not putting any of that.
I'm not a Max Gilbert hater. He missed it. He missed a 43-yard kick. It happens. But if we're gonna do this whole, I watched a Georgia Tech kicker run onto the field with 2 seconds left and drill a 55-yarder to win. You have it in you or you don't in that moment. And I hope Max Gilbert's got probably 2.5 more years since he's kicker. And I hope more than anything that he gets another opportunity like that and he makes it. But acting like, at the end of the day, you make the kick or you don't. Acting like that's Josh Heupel's fault is just ridiculous.
To be honest, when he made the second one, I shifted my thought process a little bit because it says, okay, you can be clutch because he had all the pressure in the world on that kick too. It wasn't to win it, but if he misses it, the game's essentially over and he made it. So that proves to me that he can make it a little bit. Now, I'm going to put my hand up and say that I was one of them. I still kind of think this just a little bit that Heupel iced his kicker.
Yes.
But I'm going to be one of them that said, I think that's mostly on Heupel. I don't think I agree with that anymore. I think I'm about 50-50. Now, nothing's black and white, right? Like it's just a team loses a football game. No one individual player loses a football game. I haven't heard any of us say too much about Schumpert and his penalty because that probably threw things off even more because that messes up the entire sequence.
Was worse than anything else in that sequence.
That throws off what Heupel was trying to do at the end there. And one thing I was going to say a few minutes ago is up until the last 20 seconds of that drive of regulation, I thought Heupel was perfect. I think to Ryan's point, I think he was perfect. He did everything exactly how you do. And then at the end, I agree with you. I would have just kicked. I don't know. After the penalty, I feel like you have to go get the yards back because what if you break it? Yes, what if you break it for 15 yards? Everyone's saying the other way. What if you fumble it? What if you break it for 15 yards and you're all of a sudden sitting at a 35-yard field goal instead of a 41? And I get it. It's easy to say that. You can go backwards as well. It's just I don't particularly like because Max at that point he's like, what do I do? Because I at home was like, what are we doing? And Chase I just heard was saying, well, what are we doing? So no one knows when the kick is coming. Max is over there shaking, right? Because he's about to kick a field goal to potentially beat Georgia. It just makes it tough. And I think Umarov deserves more of the blame for it. All respect to him because he threw everything off in the first place. I think if Tennessee snaps the ball right there and they move forward 10 yards, they move forward even 5 yards, I think it's a lot easier kick than what it had to be and to mix up everything at the end there.
Here, okay, one thought, like, sure, like I don't disagree with anything y'all are saying about the last play of just going ahead and kicking it before or running another play. My thing is just like Chase is acting like there were 6 different plays Tennessee could have kicked the ball on. and it was a 45-second difference on when he was going to run out there to kick. Now, two coaching takes. I would have loved for them to have gone out there for another play, little fake handoff, throw one up to Chris Brazzell, one-on-one in the end zone. Try to win that way. Throw it to where throw if it's out of bounds or if anything, because you would have gotten 100% would have gotten one-on-one, and they would have 100% expected you to run. You could have caught him sleeping. Two, the other thing, and that's just revisionist history. I didn't think that at the time. Two, I said this at the time in the press box. Before the 4th and 6, I wish Tennessee would have taken a timeout to get their best pass rushers on the field.
Yeah, you can't keep him for next game.
Yep. And that's something that's also kind of Caleb Herring had a great game. He bounced back in a hurry. Jordan Ross was murdering the Georgia right tackle on one series where he had back-to-back, because I could not buy more Jordan Ross stock. Like, Jordan Ross is going to be a superstar for Tennessee. Like, he's great. And Josh Josephs was awesome in it, but Tennessee's pass rush was great in this game by and large. I will say too, and then we'll do our stat the game here. I don't know if y'all, this is something I kind of was going through the PFF rankings, and like, y'all are watching these games and everything. Are we sure like Arian Carter is like great? Like, Arian Carter is theoretically good, right? This is year 3. And something I was thinking about watching this game, because the linebackers, like, they rotate a lot. Arian Carter had a bad whiff at one point in this game. That
Dylan
what was his
Bell's screen pass.
Yeah, that's where it hit. Yeah.
Or, I don't know if it's a screen, but it was out in the flat.
Right. And for me, I was thinking, and I jotted it down in my notes. I was like, would I rather have Keenan Peely for this season or Arian Carter? Like, if you knew you had a healthy, because Arian Carter led you in tackles last year, but it just feels like there's just like that leader, that one guy to just keep everything on schedule. I don't know. Like, Keenan Peely was really good when healthy, and we'll never know over the course of a full season what that would have looked like. But I don't know. Are we sure like Arian Carter is just like a great linebacker at this point? He still feels very good. Theoretical to me.
He's good, not great. I've never thought he was great. So
yeah, like he's good. That's a great way of putting it. All right. He's good, but he's not a great. And I think if you ask most Tennessee fans or people, they'd be like, great. Like, I'm like, Arian Carter's good. He's not a great linebacker.
But to me, Keenan Peely's not a great linebacker either. So
I'll give Schumpert some credit here, because he started talking about how the linebackers like are talked highly of, but don't play as highly as they're talked. Like, and I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy. I thought they're, I've never seen anything. And then you start watching, it's like, yeah, now that I've started watching the linebackers, I realize, maybe there's a reason Edwin Spillman should be on the field more. Maybe, if Jeremiah T. Leonard didn't have such a leadership factor in that huddle, would they go somewhere else with that? Or is his leadership just so invaluable you leave him on the field? Because I agree. I think it's a good unit. And I think, I'm sure there's probably 4 or 5 SEC teams who would love to have Arian Carter and Jeremiah T. Leonard as starting linebackers. But I think in games like this, when every little thing shows up, like when everybody's doing their job, but one hole is exploited, you see some of those things with the linebackers. So got to credit Schumpert. He shouted it out first over the summer, and I started paying attention to it, and you can tell. And I think that's why we saw Edwin Spillman get so much run.
Yeah.
I've been impressed with him and some of his closing speed in particular. There's a couple, I can't remember plays exactly, but there's a couple plays where Georgia was working east to west and he was able to kind of shut those down. But yeah, I think that's definitely something you can circle and look at. And you wonder too, like, if those guys are a tick behind and your safeties are a tick behind and you've got a freshman at corner, you really need the pass rushers to step up. And I think, once again, revisionist history, but if Tennessee's pass rush didn't play as good, to your point, Chase, as they did Saturday, that game probably would have been over a lot sooner.
Yeah, I agree. They got to get healthy, man, on defense in some ways. Like, some guys are still, like, I don't know if we're ever going to see. Ricky's obviously we're not going to see, but Jermod, I don't know. The longer it goes, the more you worry about if we see Jermod at all this year. But yeah, you just need Hobbs and Moy back in a hurry. Like, you need them back in a hurry, especially for Mississippi State in 2 weeks. But I do love Mississippi State's a 4:00 game. Like, not doing a night game in Starkville feels like a sneaky major win for Tennessee. That's not going to be a night game.
I will say on the injury note, Chris Lowe said on the Lowdown on Rocky Top Insider YouTube podcast pages yesterday that he believes Hobbs and Moy for sure, and Hobbs he thinks also will be back for Mississippi State.
That'd be huge. They need him back.
I think injury this goes without saying how important McCoy is, because really, I think a lot of people are like, oh, Alabama's really bad. They have some daggum good receivers. Like Jeremy Bernard is really good. And Ty Simpson is getting better under center now. I mean, he's going to play Georgia here. Yeah, he's going to play Georgia here in a few weeks, and we'll find out for sure if Alabama is really building something after their loss to Florida State. But I do think that's going to be another tough one. And if McCoy isn't back for that, and Redmond once again is put on island against those receivers, I think the Vols secondary could run into trouble again. So that's the one. Obviously, everyone's looking for. I'm not really saying anything breaking with that, but
I mean, Blake Shaven's
I think this team needs McCoy back very badly.
Yeah, I mean, Mississippi State's going to challenge Tennessee vertically. Jeff Levy knows Heupel in this scheme very well. Like, they're going to challenge Tennessee vertically. And then, I mean, Arkansas, I think, has the best rushing attack in the SEC to this point. Taylor Green, you could argue, is maybe the best quarterback through 3 weeks in the SEC with how he's played. Like, that's going to be tough.
Chase, everybody we talked about in the preseason pod where we were talking about Pavia, Jean Matier, Joey Aguilar, and Taylor Green, all those guys have rocked. Maybe the 4 best quarterbacks in the SEC.
It's crazy.
We were kind of crapping on them too at the time.
100%.
I've seen this said by a lot of people, but it's just so true. All of the guys that were receiving hype, all of the quarterbacks that were receiving hype, none of them are good. I mean, like, I'm not sure how much there was out there for Klubnik, but he's been bad. Nuss has been not that great. Lenora Sellers has been bad. DJ Lagway has been even worse. Like, Arch Manning, I don't even have to say anything about him. And then, like Ryan says, it's the Pavias, it's the Greens, it's the Bo Perbulas, it's the Joey Aguilars that are probably in the upper echelon of SEC quarterbacks right now.
I mean, Joey Aguilar is a legitimate dude. Like, there's no question now. Like, anyone who's still a skeptic, like, no, Joey Aguilar is a great Tennessee quarterback. He is I don't want to say perfect for this system. Hendon Hooker was perfect for this system, but he's like a A- for this system. I think Joey Aguilar is really, really good for Tennessee, and I think it's gonna be fun, man. I could not buy more Joey Aguilar stock. I mean, he's in the Heisman conversation if they win Saturday night, right? Like, his odds go way up.
I think
it's always a quarterback driven award anyway. I mean, he would be, because Tennessee's in the driver's seat at the CFP at that point. Still have a good shot, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're talking Heisman conversation for Aguilar after that game. That enters the national foray, I guess is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, for sure. But Heisman after 3 weeks, who cares?
It's true. Final thing, because Ryan's sick, so we're not going to go through everything here. Let's do our most impressive stat coming out of this game for UT here. Ethan, what is it for you?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I said it a little bit at the top of the show, 496 total yards. It's the most Tennessee has had against a Kirby Smart team, and it's not really close. I'm not sure Tennessee has broken 400. I did a quick look, and honestly, I can't remember if we ever did it. I think maybe in like 2021 they got close. Obviously, they still lost that game. But yeah, the most competitive game Tennessee has played against Kirby since 2016. And, the passing stats, the total yardage stats, they tell the tale. And I mean, Joey had probably the best performance a quarterback has had against one of those Kirby Smart teams as well. I'd say I understand Josh Dobbs won the game, but I'd say he did even better than Dobbs did in 2016 in that one, despite the loss.
I like that. I mean, Joey, the touchdown passes alone, like that's set since 2021 and everything. I mean, Joey's on the money, man. Like, it was that first quarter and his response in the third quarter. That's the other part to put a bow on everything is I don't think you can discount how bad the vibes were. Y'all were, Caleb, you and Ryan were in the building where the vibes were so bad in terms of like, oh, here comes the Georgia Death March going in third quarter. Like, Tennessee's offense just was really stuck in neutral, and it just felt like, okay, Georgia's about to just slowly crush Tennessee into oblivion here in the second half. I've seen this movie before, and to Tennessee's credit, they got up off the mat and they came back. Like, that was that was the most surprised I've been from a Heupel game in the Tennessee Heupel era thus far, where I thought the game was cooked. Like, I would not have believed at any point that Tennessee was going to get back up off the mat in the middle of the third quarter when Georgia looked like they did and everything was going the way Georgia, and the stadium, like, it just, the vibe just looked and sounded terrible. And you're just like, oh, the body language was just none of it was good. Like, everyone just could feel it. Like, I've seen this movie before. And to Tennessee's credit, they bounced it back. And that's probably the most cool. I would say the most important, but maybe the coolest thing about last night or Saturday night, even though you lost, it showed a lot that they got up and they did not let Georgia just break their will like they have in the second half the last 2 years. And they got up off the mat, man. And I think this Tennessee offense is the real deal. And this Tennessee team's got a lot of great leadership, But yeah, I mean, the playoffs is not out of the question. I just think every week is just gonna be wild. Like I think they're like we talked about. Taylor Green's a good quarterback. Shapen and Mississippi State's better than we thought. Arkansas's better than we thought. Oklahoma is definitely better than we thought. I mean, this schedule, I don't know.
It's a lot harder than it looked.
Yes, 100%.
And it's good. The offense is good because you're going to need to score points to win a lot of these games.
100%. I think the defense is going to have problems all year. I don't think this is going to be a top 10 scoring defense again.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd agree with that.
Caleb Jarreau, what can the good folks check out from you over at the Daily Times this week?
Where are our stats?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I would just. Did y'all all have mine? I just had it for
stat.
Ethan. I didn't know you all had them.
I actually didn't have a stat, but I just had a point.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Well,
I
had it.
Okay,
I
perfect.
didn't have a stat until we started, and then you kept referencing the stats. I was like, "Oh gosh, I better pick one." And I did. I'm not picking the obvious. I'm going with penalties.
Okay.
10
That's a great
penalties
one.
for 82
Great
yards. Penalties have plagued Josh Heupel teams in these big games.
Yeah.
And this one in particular, I mean, when you go to Alabama and you lose in Tuscaloosa, I think that was the game where he turns the mic, or maybe it was Georgia where he turns the mic and he's like, "Where were the calls?" Those things, like those are the things you remember. But at the end of the day, close games like this, the penalties hurt. False starts. Sam Pendleton had a false start. He's your center. I'm not really sure how that works. He had a hold. Sham had the false start. We've talked about ad nauseum. There's some penalties you can chalk up as like not that big of a deal, like the intentional grounding. Like you don't have to talk about that one as much. There's a substitution infraction. Joshua Josephs lined up with his hand well past the football in one play that moved the chains for Georgia. Like just those little things when you play these good football teams, I think kind of move the margins. So I think Georgia had 5 penalties, but it was over less than half of the yards. So I would go penalties. It's different, and we've talked about everything else. And, it hurts, especially penalties in your home stadium.
I'll add on to that really quick, and just the timing specifically of the penalties. The one on the DPI and Colton Hood, I believe it was uncatchable. Otherwise, most of them it felt like happened on third down or at a absolutely massive spot for Tennessee. Just couldn't get off the field. There was a holding. There was something happening in the secondary that would bail Georgia out, that would keep the drive going, and ultimately end in the end zone. And then obviously there's the Shams one at the end of the game that we talked about a little earlier. But I would just add that, just the timing specifically of those penalties. I mean, just backbreaking, the definition of it.
That Joshua Joseph's offside, to Ethan's point, was on 3rd and 2. And he just lined up offsides. Like the flag was out as the ball was getting snapped.
It always came at the worst time. I mean, it was maddening.
They line up offsides all the time on defense. It's kind of crazy for as good as their defensive line is, how often they line up offsides. The thing I was going to say, which isn't really a stat, but just the drive chart's crazy in this game. I mean, Georgia, it's like really balanced. Score, punt, score, turnover, score. Like Tennessee, 3 touchdowns, 5 straight drives of punt or interception, touchdown, field goal, missed field goal attempt. So, I think it's Chase. You said it. I was going to say credit to the team for stepping up, and we've kind of crapped on the defense a lot. I'll say, they sparked They kept Tennessee alive. 2 drives Georgia had to extend the game to a 2 possession lead after that opening touchdown in the second half. They forced a 3-and-out, and then Joey Aguilar threw that interception, and they're right on the brink of field goal range, and another 3-and-out and made field goal. So I think Chris Brazzell's long touchdown was really the play that kind of truly snapped things back in gear, because Tennessee's offense had been lifeless for what felt like about 75, 80 minutes of real time at that point. But Tennessee's defense getting those 2 stops, it might have been, I guess it wasn't even technically a stop because they got a field goal in the second one, but it was the 2 best drives for Tennessee's defense back to back in the entire game.
Caleb Jarreau, what can the good folks check out from you over at the Daily Times this week?
Yeah, we roll on. This is the halfway mark of the high school football season this week, which is crazy. So I'll be at Halls. They're playing William Blount on Friday. We got full coverage of all of those things, all of our high school slate. It's not the biggest week coming off of last week, but big bounce back opportunities for a lot of our teams. And then college football this weekend, obviously, and everything else in between. So yeah, nothing crazy for me. I'm Unfortunately, I won't get to hear about Schumpert's Field of 68 opinions. Going to write something off of that, but I'll just have to wait till next week.
You're muted, Shump.
Good thing he's muted. I'm sure he's saying something crazy right now.
So that was a Chase thing. That wasn't me. But it's a good thing I was muted, because I was just so close a mere minute ago to starting to blow my nose into the mic as Caleb was talking. Like I was about to do it and then realized I wasn't muted.
Well, like y'all are doing like the polite things where you're saying bless you, like all this stuff. I feel like a dirtbag because I'm not doing it on pod. I don't know. Are you supposed to do it like during the show? Bless you.
That's what the chat's for over here. For context, I told Schumpert sneezed. I said bless you. He said thanks, and I said anytime. Just looking out for my friend over there who's going through the common cold.
Yeah.
I mean,
I had a great
a loss to Georgia hurts you mentally and physically. Apparently.
Which a thing of NyQuil, 3 Gatorades, and a Sprite cost me $30 at Sprite today, or at Walgreens today. What happened to the country that I love? That's unbelievable.
You bought NyQuil and Sprite?
Yeah,
they're gonna put you on a watch list.
It was funny. Last night when I really started feeling bad. Like I felt bad when I woke up yesterday, and I took a nap, hoping that I was just sleep deprived, and I was not. I had exactly like 20 milliliters of NyQuil left, so I was like, "Yeah, this isn't the full allotment, but this will help for tonight."
Bullpen game.
It's the flu game from Ryan Schumpert. Ethan, so what about you over at Saturday Down South as well?
Yeah, we'll have the Wednesday teleconference, SEC coaches teleconference. We'll have full coverage of that. Obviously, tomorrow through Friday, getting ready for week 4 in the SEC. And then obviously week 5, I think, is when the full conference versus conference matchups start off. So we'll really get into it at SEC football as we have been doing all season. Me, myself, I don't have anything right now. Bowl projections will be a couple more weeks from now as we get to read the landscape. But yeah, a lot of good stuff from our team on the news desk, and had a Saturday Down South and tradition for Big Ten.
There you go. Ryan Schumpert, doing your best over there, Rocky Top Insider. Did you write today? Are you pushing through?
Yeah, I wrote today, and
okay.
I think I published my last thing around 2 and fell asleep for an extended amount of time after that. So
get some rest, man. We got to have you ready to go here. We gotta get you back and ready to go. You don't need to push through it, man. It's UAB week. You can
Monday there's just a lot of stuff. The next couple of days it'll be easier to slow down. Mondays are always busy, no matter the week. A lot of Georgia fallout still.
Yeah. Ryan Schumpert, Ethan Stone, Caleb Jarreau. Appreciate it as always, fellas, and I'll talk to y'all again next week.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.